I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and today I'm reviewing Sizewise by Gamehead. Sizewise is designed by Scott Brady, and it's a party game for 3 to 8 players. Less than 3 would be weird to deal with the scoring mechanism, and more than 8 would be hard unless you get your hands on more of these, although I will say, this is a game that if you buy multiple copies of it, you could theoretically go above 8, although I would at that point, you'd have to start messing with the scoring, but it would still just be fun. There's things you can do. Let me show you how to play, and you can decide how you want to house rule and add multiple sets to your collection as you go. In Sizewise, you're trying to figure out what the size of things is, except you're not actually trying to figure out what the size is, you are trying to figure out what you think other players at the table think the size is. To that end, you're going to go ahead and flip over a card. This card over here, you're looking at 5. 5 is the number you look at, so we have a windshield wiper. Let's go ahead and using our handy dandy little thing, let's measure how long we think a windshield wiper is. I'm going to go there. Then I'm going to simulate player number 2 because in order to see how this game works, we need at least 3 players. I'll go ahead and say that I think a windshield wiper is yay long. They could be pretty long. That seems about right. And then player number 3 is going to do the same thing. They're going to go ahead and add their own little windshield wiper. Let's go ahead and unentangle these strings over here. They'll take it and they'll go, maybe there's a short one and a long one on each car, aren't there? Maybe they're even thinking a back windshield wiper. No one's going to think that. That'd be crazy. They're going to go ahead and go this long. Then from there, we'll take our 3 little things over here and we'll add these to the little stick, and we're going to measure what is the size of those various guesses. And in this case, the lowest guess, the most extreme, is this one. The shortest guess is green, which means purple is the winning player in this particular hand, and these 2 players lose a point each. You see, when the game begins, you're going to be given a handful of points, depending on the player count. And as you are the highest or lowest, meaning in other words, whenever you are the extremes over here, then you lose a point. And the other players do not lose a point. That's the way the game system works. Obviously, in a 3-player game, 2 people are losing points and only 1 is not losing point. The flip side is in an 8-player game, only 2 are losing points and the other 6 are not. Basically, every single round, 2 people lose a point until eventually a player runs out of points, at which point the person who has the most remaining points wins the game. That's the basic idea. Let's go ahead and do one more hand. It's going to be a very short review over here, at least a very short how to play. We'll flip over another card. And we're doing 4. 4 is going to be a wine bottle. So again, we'll take our little thing over here. A wine bottle seems like it probably would be about this long, I think. Maybe. I'm not going to overthink it. The problem is I'm the same person doing each one, so there's only so much I can really do here. Let's say a wine bottle could be that long. And then this player thinks that a wine bottle is, let's see, if I was that tall, that seems about right. We'll take the strings over here, we'll dangle them, and we'll put them over here. And once again, purple. Is it weird that both times my purple guess was the accurate one? My green and orange personalities are not on their game today. But that's basically the pitch of the game. You're trying to figure out the size of an object, but it's not actually important to figure out the size of an object. I have had people play this game and then try to prove that they're right. Like, they'll be like, oh, a pocket knife is this long. And then when everyone else is done, they pull out a pocket knife. You see, it's exactly that long. It doesn't matter how long a thing is. It matters what the players at the table think it is, because that is how you're going to score in the game. That is Sizewise. What do I think of this game? It is so much fun. Sizewise is so much fun. This game is just ridiculously addicting because you can just rattle through a whole lot of cards. Obviously, you have this entire deck of cards over here, and every single card has 6 different options on it, so it's going to be quite some time before you've run out of the various things. Now, I will say, there are some small critiques about the game. Before we get into that, let's talk more about what I like about the game. What I like about the game is it's fun. It teaches in 2 seconds. You can show people how to play just as you're going ahead and doing it. Then you can just go ahead and just run around. All you have to do to teach the game is say, hey, look, everyone, take your string and see how long you think a candle is. There you go. That's all you have to do. There's no real teach necessary. In round 2, you can explain to the players that it wasn't actually about how long you think a candle is. It's about how long you think the collective group thinks the candle is, because that's really what you're trying to go for. If you happen to know the exact length of a windshield wiper because you're a mechanic, that's not important. What's important is what is people's perception of a windshield wiper, because that's what you're measuring against. But that introduces a degree of fun to the experience because it's not about being right, it's about seeing where you fit into a crowd. I remember one particular game where I was so close to somebody else, like me and somebody else were neck and neck, and then the other person lost because they were a drop below me, and the other players were much higher. And the other players were wrong. It wasn't as long as they thought it was. It was as long as me and the other player thought it was. But because that player was a drop off the smidgen, I kept on saying, you're robbed. You were robbed. You were clearly right when you played this game. It's fun. It's fun, it's chaotic, it has that party aspect to it where it's so easy to teach and incorporate. It works well at a variety of player counts. It is satisfying at most player counts. I think the 3-player count is not as ideal. It's fine, you can play it at 3, but I think the game really thrives. Probably I would say 4 to 6 is best, but even 7-8 is pretty good. Again, the problem is the more you have, the more players you have at the table, because the fewer players you have only one player who didn't lose a point. That's not super satisfying. The reverse is true as well. At 8 players, only 2 people are really at risk of losing a point. It's not super satisfying. I think 4 to 6 is the best player count, but I would play it anywhere in that 3 to 8 player count. So overall, it's just a fun, simple, good time with a lot of gameplay in the box. I picked this up at Origins a week ago, and I've been having a ton of fun with it since then. This has been tabled, 10, 15 times since I picked it up, and it's only been a week. As far as things I don't like in the game, there's going to be a few small things. First of all, it does suffer from the party game genre. Party game genres in general often have a lot of cards, a lot of wards, and eventually you run out of ways to do the same thing. There's only so many times I can get comic book or gaming console or gravestone. It will take a while before I've burned through all the many wards over here, but eventually I will be playing the game again. For example, that wine bottle that I showed you over there, I've had wine bottle come up already. In my 15 plays of this game, whatever it is, I've already seen wine bottle because luck of the draw. Sometimes those things will happen. Because this is a single clue card game, eventually you will be playing against that same exact clue. Does it make it not fun? No, it's still fun to measure what I think a wine bottle is, but at the end of the day, I think it loses some of the charm when you start to play into those repeat words. Many modern party games solve that problem by going through a combination of factors. Games like Codename, So Clover, Decrypto. It's not about any one word, it's about the combination of words, so it doesn't matter how many cards you have, you'll never have the same combination. Every game is a unique puzzle. When you have games like Taboo or Apples to Apples, maybe Apples to Apples is a bit different, I have to think through, but when you have games like Taboo or this over here, when you have that single word clue, eventually you will kind of have played that clue out. It's a minor critique. Given the price of the game versus how much gameplay you can get out of it, it is a minor critique, but it is a critique all the same. The other critique I'll say is just we've changed the way we score in the game. In the official rules of the game, players start with a number of points, and then as you are on the extremes, you lose a point, and eventually when somebody runs out of tokens, the player who has the most tokens wins the game. I don't think that's a feel-good scoring mechanism, because it has a countdown time. It has the perception of a player who lost. I mean, the player who runs out of tokens triggers the end game, but in reality, only one player actually wins, the player with the most tokens. So in a weird way, it has the feeling of designating a loser while only actually caring about the winner. I don't mind games where there's a single loser and everyone else wins. There are some games like that. Cockroach Poker is a good example. It's a game where a single person loses and everyone else wins. This is not that. But despite the fact that there's only one winner, it still calls out the loser through the nature of disappearing tokens, which triggers the endgame. Again, even though they're not the loser, everyone lost, it still feels like they are the loser when game end is triggered. Again, I don't think it's a feel-good mechanism. For me, our group has already shifted to we just decide we're going to be counting up. The players who didn't lose a point, in other words, the non-extremes, will not gain a point. Everyone else gains a point, and then play to your desired number of points, and that's the game. Ultimately, it just introduces a purely feel-good mechanism. You gain points and there's a winner, as opposed to somebody who is the ultimate loser, even though that doesn't matter. So it's a small critique, but it is something that's just a note. We've changed the way we play the game relative to the rules. Outside of that, this is a really excellent time. I've had a lot of fun with it. I highly recommend this if you are looking for good, simple fun that plays well with kids, with gateway gamers, and with heavy strategy gamers. It's just an all-around good time. Final thoughts-wise, I'm going to be coming in at a 4.5 out of 5. This is a solid time. I do wonder how it will fare over time. Again, that simplicity aspect, that one-word clue, does mean that this is the kind of game experience that, 2 years from now, I may have played it out. I don't think so, but it's entirely possible given the type of game it is. But I am having a ton of fun with it in the meantime, so at least for right now, it is a 4.5 out of 5. As far as other game recommendations, definitely check out... I had a game. Green Team Wins. That's the game. Definitely check out Green Team Wins. It has a similar kind of mechanic or vibe as far as you're trying to think with the pack. I personally prefer the simplicity and elegance of this one, but at least that feeling of trying to be one with the group, Green Team does that as well, just with more different questions. It's not purely about measuring things. It's about your answers to any questions. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? Your goal is to end up on the most popular team as you answer them. Honestly, this game has kind of made me want to reapproach Green Team Wins because this is so much fun. I'm wondering if I didn't give that as much of a fair shot. I like Green Team Wins, but I don't love Green Team Wins as much as others have, and maybe I should try it again. And then also, Allplay is a channel sponsor. If you go to allplay.com, you can find a variety of games, both from Allplay themselves, as well as a variety of partner publishers. And if you're looking for just easy, simple fun, this game is kind of reminiscent, a very different experience, but it is very reminiscent to me to things in... Not Things on Strings, Things and Rings. They have the expansion now, so now I'm all thrown off. But Things and Rings is a game from Allplay, designed by Peter Hayward, and it is a game of just trying to figure out what belongs in certain rings. It has that easy simplicity that this one has, very different play style, but it kind of gave me that similar vibe of like, I just found a new, really super duper fun party game, and let's see how long this game is fun for. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Hope you found this review helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.